What if a teenager who couldn't read or write walked into a war and changed the course of a nation? This is the true story of Joan of Arc, fast, fierce, and stranger than legend. Domrémy, a small village on the frontier of a divided France. Joan is a farmer's daughter. She tends animals, learns prayers, hears church bells. Ordinary, until she later says she begins hearing guiding voices. She names them Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret. They don't tell her to be a queen or a prophet. They tell her to be practical. Go to the Dauphin, lift the Siege of Orléans, and see him crowned at Reims. It's the 100 Years' War. The English and their Burgundian allies press hard. Orléans is under siege. The French heir, Charles, called the Dauphin, has not been crowned, his legitimacy in doubt. France itself feels like it's slipping away. Joan travels across hostile territory to Chinon. Chroniclers say Charles hides among his courtiers to test her. Joan walks past nobles and kneels to the right man anyway. However it happened, she convinces him she's worth hearing. Theologians question her for days at Poitiers. She's about 17. She answers simply, says she's on a mission from God, and asks for soldiers. One rare detail, she openly admits she can't read. She signs documents with a simple mark. In Tours, she receives white armor. Tradition says a sword is found for her behind the altar at Saint Catherine de Fierbois, marked with little crosses. But Joan prefers her banner, painted with Christ in judgment. She'll carry it into battle and later insist she never killed anyone. She rides to the front and changes the tone of the army. She pushes for prayer, bans swearing, asks camp followers to leave, and urges the men to confess before combat. She even dictates letters to the English, warning them to withdraw. Night on the Loire. Joan slips by boat into besieged Orléans, banner upright in the wind. The city's morale surges. She's not a mascot. She's in the trenches, directing assaults, exposed to danger alongside seasoned captains. At the Retells, an arrow pierces her between neck and shoulder. She withdraws briefly, prays, returns to the walls with her banner, and the assault turns. Within 9 days of her arrival, the siege is lifted. It's a pivot point in the war. She urges speed. Take the Loire towns. Open the road to Reims. Town after town yields. In Reims Cathedral, Charles is crowned King of France with Joan standing close, holding her banner. She later says she brought it there so it might share in the honor. Momentum falters. The attack on Paris fails. Joan is wounded in the thigh. A truce follows. She keeps campaigning anyway. She believes her mission isn't finished, while politics around her grow cautious. At Compiègne, during a skirmish outside the gates, Burgundian soldiers seize her. She's sold to the English and imprisoned. A lesser-known episode, she tries to escape earlier by jumping from a castle tower at Beauvoir, survives the fall, and is recaptured. In Rouen, clerics aligned with the English interrogate her for months. Dozens of articles are reduced to a focused set of charges. They press her about her clothes. She wears men's dress for safety in prison, and about her voices. When asked, "Are you in God's grace?" she replies, "If I am not, may God put me there. If I am, may God so keep me." It's careful, theologically savvy, and famous. In 1431, in the marketplace, she asks for a cross. Witnesses say she calls the name of Jesus as the flames rise. Her ashes are thrown into the Seine. She is 19. 25 years later, a new trial declares the first trial null. Her family receives a coat of arms, fleur-de-lis flanking a sword and star, and the name de Lis. Centuries on, she's canonized in 1920. Artists, nations, and movements claim her image, but the record keeps a few stubborn truths. She moved armies without swinging a sword, carried a banner instead of spilling blood, and altered history before she was old enough to vote in our world. Want more true stories that read like legend? Subscribe and join us for the next one.